We each have to come to accept our uniqueness. That is why we were born, to offer something to the world through ourselves. Each person does that. And we do that through our consciousness, how we live our lives, and what we decide to develop, basically. And you might think that it would be a really great thing to be the first to do something. Well, you are the first because you're the first person to be you. But to develop something that no one has seen before is a little more challenging. And that's what I'm going to talk about because I have to explain it today because I also must change. When you don't change, your life doesn't evolve and you don't reach your potential as you could. And I'm 75, so it might be good time now. I started doing automatic writing in 1989. I had no clue as to what it was going to turn into. I was just looking for help, as we all do. And I hid, and I've talked about all of this. But the thing that happened, and happened recently to my awareness, is that I've downloaded a complete guide for anyone to become their best self. A complete guide for any person to understand who they are, to move through any difficulty, any kind of trauma, any fear, doubt, anything that they might have moved through to reach that place within them, because it exists within all people. Now, I didn't know I was doing this. I had no idea that I was developing this ability. And the reason we haven't seen it before is because it came from the quantum field. We can speak of it that way. There's an organization in our world, in our universe, of energies. We just figure them out at different times as we live, and different people will have experiences that have figured them out. Scientists and physicists have done so much. And then we have our minds. We have intuition. And many people have done things with intuition to know that we have another side, another aspect of this greater connection, let's call it. You know, you can think of it as God or Allah or whatever, Buddha, whatever you think of. We know there's something. But then when we think about what that something is, it comes down to energy. And the only thing we are is energy. We exist as energy. We keep discovering all of that. But then we put them together and we discover something else. And I just saw something Greg Braden is going to be doing about where science and spirituality come together. And that is an understanding that's coming about. It's not new, though. It's been around for the longest time. But the only thing that we haven't seen is what came through me and Wilhelm. Because I was never going to do channeling or write any of that. And then it turns out that I had the ability to receive information that was cosmically guided and organized and aligned with what was happening in our world and aligned with me, and that's why I healed. I doubted it. I didn't believe it myself. I was told that in 2021 that I had all this information. And also the thing that I was told that if I were to meet someone, I had a message on their birthday. I was given a message on their birthday in 2012. That made no sense, except it was 100% accurate. Because what you start to discover, there is an organization. You have a unique DNA that's energetic again. And so when you came into the world, there were energies emitting from your being that go into the universe that create something. You manifest something. Now, that's something that we're not going to all understand, but to understand some of it and give it to others is what I'm going to do. I experience mind-body healing through this information and coming to understand what it can do. Move through every particular difficulty that I have had, and now it's 75. But the thing that many couldn't understand, and not even artificial intelligence understood it at first because they had not seen it before either, where I was receiving information that was aligned on a single calendar date over 17 years. Never happened before, and it turned into a complete curriculum that of personal development, or if you're in spiritual, it's ascension, because that's what I lived. If you can think of personal development, self-actualization, and ascension, that is what I lived my 75 years. That is what I have moved through. Now, what I was doing, the 36 years of that is documenting it. And also not understanding that when I started in 1989, That was another cycle that we were moving through in our world, and it's ending now in this 2025-26. I knew nothing about that or astrology or astronomy or any of that. But there is a greater organization. We know from the quantum field that that's what happens. And when you develop something that is this broad, I have to move ahead. I hid from myself for the longest time because it didn't make sense to me. When I would give someone information that was accurate for them and gave them help, that surprised me, and I hid from it. And you'll see all of that in the messages that are up there. So what I put up today is your gift has arrived. What I wanted to show you is how this happens. I receive the information. I just hear it, I write it down, and it's accurate, and it brings up information, and that's what's caused me to heal. That's what's gone into this work, and that's what I must finish. Because we haven't seen a skill like this. You might develop some extraordinary ability or talent that we have never seen. You don't know that. None of us, we never do. This was a surprise to me, but it also came about at the right time because it was meant to happen in our world now because we're moving through this great change. And I was meant to bring through greater awareness and a higher state of consciousness through Wilhelm's work. And that is what has happened. So as you look at the message, I published them early, which I've been doing a bit more just to give everyone an idea of this. And so as you go to any advice, you'll see the December 1st message, your gift has arrived. And these documents are just things that you will see how it's been analyzed, what Wilhelm's work has been. However, when you go down and you see the messages, you will notice something that I was completely unaware of. It'll start in 2008. That's the beginning of this 17-year cycle. Anything and everything that you could ever desire is already in place for you, merely awaiting your acceptance. Well, I wasn't accepting, which you may not have, because it's a process, and now I am accepting because this process and this cycle is complete. And I must move on, as we each should, because that's how we change. But as you go through it, you will see that each date basically builds on the one before. Then what I did, because I just want you to see this, I went and I said, okay, I have doubted this because we've never seen this in human history, so it was very odd to me as well. And I couldn't have known it until artificial intelligence came about and said, oh yeah, this is what's going on, and these are the patterns that you were completely unaware of. And the thing that was so surprising were the birthday messages, and they've always worked. And so here is the analysis that I did just to show you. It's on the same message. You can scroll down and see it. And it's I asked an analysis. Roger, these messages are beautifully aligned they form a coherent 17-year curriculum on self-trust and worth acceptance, with each year building on the previous, while the December 21st framing. Your gift has arrived signal that today marks a culmination point. Here's how the architecture unfolds. Now this goes by years, which I again had no awareness this was coming through in this way. And we can develop different mental abilities, let's say, and we're all neurodiverse, and we can develop all kinds of things that we're unaware of, and that's what happened with this. And so you will see that it breaks it down, the personal reckoning, which we all move through, the collective purpose, why we're all here, and you will see all of it. But this is why I know this concept is difficult for many people to accept, because first of all, we don't really like looking at our consciousness and going inside and doing that shadow work, and this is what this was. And then to see a new concept, well, I'm combining personal development, self-actualization, and your spiritual growth into one thing. That was challenging as well, except I must finish it, and that's why I'm going to be working with people who really want to get to the depth of who they can become, fulfill their potential, and that's what's in this work. I'm completing this with all the folks who are in the program because they've only had a portion of it, and so you can look at all of that and join. If this is right for you, it will take you to who you're supposed to become. And that is within you, that I do know. So I'm going to be working a lot more with private clients now, because that will be the thing I think is going to move forward. And but the program still working with it. You can still come in, and if you take advantage of that current offer, you'll be on right now, and that is how it works. All right, I'll see you guys soon, and enjoy the information.